Hey, I'm Peter Facinelli, and you're on FrConventions. Well, I think it naturally happens when you're working with people. It's kind of like you're either going to love each other or hate each other. It's like going on a long road trip, you know. The movies, we were together for 6 or 7 years, so I think we spent a lot of time together. We feel like family, off and on camera. I mean, it's nice. I don't really have TikTok. I don't really go on much, but my kids, my daughters told me that there's something going around about Carlisle and some of the fans too. But I think the fans are aging up too. You know, I think that if they were 10 years ago, they were teenagers. Now they're looking at different people, I guess. No, I don't think anybody could ever imagine it's rare that a movie comes along and really hits the zeitgeist of something, and if people could bottle that, they would do it all the time. So I don't think anybody knew when we were making it how successful it would become. That years later we'd be still meeting fans, but I feel very blessed, very fortunate. Somewhat. I mean, I was in The Scorpion King. I think there was some CGI there. So I think I've done a few films with CGI. I mean, everything's getting to be CGI now and AI. So, it's actually easier when it's not CGI because it requires more acting when you're trying to pretend that there's something there. But if something's actually there, then you can. It's easier to react off of it. So green screen can be hard. Well, the funny thing is, we didn't actually shoot a lot of scenes in Forks. We shot in Portland, Oregon. Was where we shot the original movie, and it's beautiful there. Portland is beautiful. But since then, I actually have gotten to go to Forks. Not until after the movies. Years later, I was invited to an event at Forks, and it's very, very beautiful. Especially flying in, I took a small plane, and it was just like the opening of the movie. The beautiful trees, and you can almost hear the soundtrack to the to the Twilight movies as you kind of come into this beautiful, magical place. I hope they called me that. I love that character so much, and anytime you do a character and you get to replay that character in some way, even if it's just the voice, it would be magical to be able to recreate that. So I hope they call me. I would love to do it. I mean, it depends on how it's done, but very rarely do you get to go back and revisit characters. So anytime, you get a chance to, especially one that's so beloved and the fan base, but also I love that character too. I remember being at Forks, and they had other actors that were dressed as the Cullens, and I was kind of fanboying out with them because I get it, I understand it. From your lips to God's ears, that would be wonderful. That's a good question. I think I love directing because as a director, you're not just a piece of the bigger fabric of the material. You're actually creating the material, the fabric, and you're working with actors, and you're working with the hair and makeup team, and you're working with You know, you get to pick the music and you get to pick the color of the film. So there's a lot more as a director that you're involved in making. That said, there's, you know, I love acting too. So it's just different parts of storytelling. You know, as an actor, I get to tell one part of the story through my character. And as a director, I get to tell the whole of the story. As a writer, I get to create that story. And as a producer, I get to build a team of people to help you know, build the world of that story. So there's things I love about all of them, honestly. And but acting will always be my first love. I think everybody, you know, it's fun to be the villain because in real life, I'm not. So like, anytime you get to like use your imagination and be something that's further away from you is fun. I mean, with that character on Supergirl, he was kind of in a gray area. Sometimes he was good, sometimes he was bad, depending on like who he was teaming up with to fight what he wanted to fight, you know. And he was kind of self-absorbed, but he was also doing things that he thought for the greater good. So that one was a complex character, which I enjoyed. But yeah, it's fun to play bad guys. It's fun to play good guys. I did a movie where I played a doctor. It was a horror film, and he was a very bad actor. You know, one of the fans from Twilight said, "I couldn't believe that was you because Carlisle's so loved." And I said, "Well, if you clapped when I died, that means I did a good job." I mean, any chance I get to come to Paris is, I don't need an excuse. It's so beautiful, and I'm so happy to be here. And it's a short trip because I start a movie on Thursday, so I wish I had more time. But even coming for the weekend is what a wonderful place to have lunch and dinner and meet up with some fans and get to spend the day with them and then go back to work next week.